Good day everyone. Today we're going to talk about Marpol Annex 1 to Annex 4. Marpol Annex 1. Marpol Annex 1 is the first implementation by Marpol 7378, one of the most important international marine environmental conventions. The convention was designed to minimize pollution of oil from ships. It entered into force in October 2, 1983. It also introduces the ideas of special areas, which are considered to be at risk to oil pollution. As far as operational oil pollution is concerned, the many innovations introduced by Marpol on allowable discharges of bilge water through the oily water separator, with the well-known 15 ppm standard, or oily waters from the cargo tanks through the oil discharge and monitoring system, have contributed greatly to a noticeable decrease in oil pollution of the world's seas. Though it is fair to recognize that a greater effort to impose compliance must be carried out. Marpol Annex 2. Regulations for the control of pollution by noxious liquid substances in bulk. The main principle of the Annex 2 is to dilute cargoes, residues in seawater to prescribed limits depending on their pollution hazards, and facilitate the distribution of discharges by utilizing the wake of the ship. Annex 2 came into force on June 4, 1987. And contains discharge conditions for 4 categories of noxious substances and requirements applicable to the construction and equipment of ships carrying such substances. The Annex also includes a number of other requirements reflecting modern stripping techniques, which specifies discharge levels for products, which has been incorporated into Annex 2. For ships constructed on or after January 1, 2007, the maximum permitted residue in the tank and its associated piping left after discharge is set at a maximum of 75 liters for products in categories X, Y, and Z, compared with the previous limits, which sets maximum of 100 to 300 liters, depending on the product category. Marpol Annex 3. Marpol Annex 3, or Prevention of Pollution by Harmful Substances Carried by Sea in Package Form, came into force on July 1, 1992. Contains general requirements for the standards on packing, marking, labeling, documentation, stowage, quantity subtraction, and division. Notifications for preventing pollution by harmful substances. The Annex is in line with the procedures detailed in the International Maritime Dangerous Goods (IMDG) Code, which has been expanded to include marine pollutants. For the purpose of this Annex, harmful substances are those substances which are identified as marine pollutants in the International Maritime Dangerous Goods Code, or IMDG Code, or which meet the criteria in the appendix of Annex 3. Marpol Annex 4, or Prevention of Pollution by Sewage from Ships, contains a set of regulations regarding the discharge of sewage into the sea from ships, including regulations regarding the ship's equipment and system for the control of sewage discharge, the provision of port reception facilities for sewage, and requirements for survey and certification. It is generally considered that on the high seas, the oceans are capable of assimilating and dealing with raw sewage through natural bacterial actions. Therefore, the regulations in Annex 4 of Marpol, the discharge of sewage into the sea within a specified distance from the nearest land unless otherwise provided. The discharge of sewage into the sea is prohibited, except when the ship has in operation an approved sewage treatment plant, or when the ship is discharging disinfected sewage using an approved system at a distance of more than 3 nautical miles from the nearest land. Sewage which is not disinfected may be discharged at a distance of more than 12 nautical miles from the nearest land, and when the ship is en route or proceeding at not less than 4 knots, and the rate of discharge of untreated sewage shall be approved by the administration.